You're good?
All right. Okay, well, welcome to the Legislative Rules and Government Operations Committee meeting. It is February 23rd, 2023, time to 1 p.m. Let's deal with the Board of Elections agenda first with the I should probably do minutes.
Yes, please.
All right. Approval of the minutes of our prior committee meeting. Is there a motion to approve those minutes? Motion made by Supervisor Conover. Frank seconded them. Supervisor Thomas. I'll try and get a little bit more formal here. All those, any suggested changes to the minutes as proposed? Seeing none, I'll call the motion. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, minutes passed. Next, we have Board of Elections items. So the first one is request to appropriate funds from reserve for the purchase of 25 new Lexmark on-demand printers, Red Park bundles and cards. 29,100 from Capital Reserve A898. Either commissioner want to go from here?
Sure.
And thank you both for.
As you're aware, we went to on-demand printing, really fell out with it last year for first real bailout, worked very well. Knock on wood, the on-to-print, but we were a little skeptical about, they take a little more time than people walking in just getting handed a ballot. We did save a bunch of money, as we said before. The ballots were costing us about 48 cents a piece to have them pre-printed. We're now paying about 21 cents a piece for them. There is no waste. Any of the leftover blank paper that we had that are not ballots can be used the following year. So it's cut down on the waste dramatically because everything we had left over had to be shredded in the next 2 years. We're preparing a little bit ahead of time for the next presidential. As we all know, it's probably going to be quite busy. We did notice some of our locations, basically in the northern part of the county, we could add another printer or two. What we're looking to do is buy 25 new printers with 25 cards, and the bundles or the wiring for it is what that is. This would come out of our capital reserve that we have built. Leaving enough money, there's plenty of money in there to cover our lease program for Dominion, as our lease with Dominion expires 2027. There's enough money in there to cover that, and as the resolution was set up, any money that we have left over in our budget, instead of going back to the general, now goes into the capital reserve for future purchases of equipment. We have checked with Rob. Everything on this will be covered under the capital reserve and be able to be purchased with that. So we're just asking to move the 29,100 from the capital reserve into the appropriate codes as attached on your resolution request number 20.
Motion made by Supervisor Conover, seconded by Supervisor Frazier. Further discussion? Seeing no further discussion.
Just the shows the forward thinking of creating the fund for purchases like this. And
yes,
I credit to you for doing that, and it makes for budgeting a lot easier.
Okay, any other further discussion? I'll put it to a vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Motion passes. Next, request to appropriate $43,718 from the Capital Reserve A898 to codes A9788.610. Leases $35,829.37 and 9788.70, interest $7,888.63. Perhaps you can make some sense out of that.
That's our lease for our Dominion machines. And as per Rob Lynch and the Treasurer's Department, it changed a little bit. It had to be appropriated to those certain codes for the principal and the interest.
The money is there, and again, this comes out of our capital reserve. So it's just pulling it from the capital reserve, putting it in the proper codes to pay the bill.
All right, motion to approve, made by Supervisor Frazier. Seconded by Supervisor Garachi. Any further discussion? Let's put it to a vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
I,
Any nays? One nay. Supervisor Thomas.
Need to get rid of the machines.
We kind of expect that. If we hear that from Supervisor, from Stony Creek every year, but.
All right,
They can be hacked and.
next.
Like the lever.
Item 4C, request to amend budget to move 2022 postage grant funds to 2023 budget. Absentee postage grant, $22,620.96.
This is just taking our money that we were granted last year. We had until this year to spend it. It's been expended. We're in the process now. We have until March 31st to submit all our bills to get reimbursed. It's a spend first, reimburse later, to get reimbursed all the money that we've expended. So it's just a matter of paperwork, moving it from last year's code into this year's code.
All right, motion to approve. Motion made by Supervisor Frazier, seconded by Supervisor Conover. Any further discussion? I'll put it to a vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
I,
Any nays? Motion passes. 4D, request to transfer of funds to cover part-time salaries.
And that's from the postage grant. We were able to write off our part-time help, helping us mail out our absentees for general election 2022.
And we were advised we had to take it out of the 100 code to move it to a different code to pay it out of the grant money.
Motion to approve. Motion to approve by Supervisor Thomas, seconded by Supervisor Frazier. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I'll put it to a vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
I,
Any ayes, any nays? Motion passes. All right, section 5, discussion items, searching for new polling locations in Glens Falls.
Yeah, so as you all know, the ward lines changed in Glens Falls. We are lacking a poll site for Ward 4. We are in search. We've talked to the Crandall Library. They are a possibility for Election Day. We also asked for early voting. We are presently in the City Hall for early voting, which is okay. It's not an ideal space. It's workable. Of course, the library has so many other functions. They won't take us for the 9 days prior to Election Day. We've also reached out to the First Presbyterian Church, Notre Dame. Bill and I are meeting with them on March 7th. And as well as the Church of the Messiah, which they said no to early voting as well, but a possibility for Election Day. And we're also revisiting them on March 7th to see if we can go there for Election Day. We did hit the Salvation Army. That, however, is across the street from a polling site in Ward 5, which is now Village Green. So that's kind of at the bottom of our list at this point. And again, they're not willing to do early voting because of the 9 days. All these places have functions and gatherings that they don't want to, put us in there instead of those things. So any other suggestions we've reached out to other
Glens Falls has been very gracious to us. The City Hall has been a good location, but as Beth said, it's not the greatest location. They have accommodated us. We're not going to miss a beat. If need be, we'll go back to City Hall again. We spoke with the mayor. We spoke with the clerk. They're ready to have us back there, but we are looking to find a better suitable building and location for the early voting. But as Beth said, 9 days, nobody wants to give up a room or have a body there for 9 days for the security part of it. So, but other than that, we're open for suggestions from anyone and we'll keep working to find them.
Okay, thank you. How about inspector's pay increase? Oh, I'm sorry. Supervisor McGowan?
Yeah, sure. Have you tried the Methodist Church? On Washington and Bay?
They might be, is that in the new Ward 4 or close to Ward 4?
Ward 4.
That's-
Falls.
Oh,
We're trying to stay within our ward.
Yeah.
We're trying to find our.
I mean,
I
even,
know the library's right down the road.
right, actually that sits in Ward 3 and as does the First Presbyterian Church, but it's like right on the line, so we could
if
make
we
it
have-
fly. And then with that also, which I didn't mention, is we are going to have open poll sites for the city of Glens Falls and Queensbury. So residents of Glens Falls can go to any poll site to get their correct ballot, because with on-demand printing, we're able to do that. And then in Queensbury as well, you can go to any poll site within Queensbury to cast the correct ballot. So we will be implementing that this,
It'll be very similar to early voting.
yeah.
With these new printers and the new equipment we have, we're able to, someone living in West Glens Falls could go to North Queensbury Firehouse and vote. With the poll books, it'll bring their name up, it'll send out the proper ballot. They'll be able to put it through the machine right then and there because it'll pick their location and their time.
And it also helps us with affidavit voting. The new law, one of the new laws passed this past year is that, as they call the wrong church bill. If you're not at the correct polling place, your ballot didn't count. But now, if you're in the wrong polling place, the offices that cover on your ballot would be counted. So we'd be hand counting those ballots if they were countable in the affidavit process. With this, they are going to get the correct ballot. So that whole entire ballot will go through the machine and cast properly. So,
I guess that's good.
yeah.
If one polling place doesn't become ever so popular.
Correct.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Because before it kind of evened them out based on districts and so forth. All right, how about the inspector's pay increase?
That's just to reiterate the new law that's it's still currently sitting in the assembly. We were notified by Assemblyman Simpson that it is going to be coming out probably sooner than later. We just want to advise that if it does come out, it's going to be something that wasn't included in our budget, which is an increase to all the inspectors, not only their hourly pay, but their daily pay for for election day. So we'll just update you
it
on
would
that.
be $300 a day,
Instead of the $240 we pay now. And
300.
Yeah.
And
And
then it
again-
will also raise, we pay $25 for training. It would also raise that to 50. And then with that,
It's a long day.
it's a long day.
it is.
It is
it
a
is.
long day.
Super.
And it's it's a lot. We depend on them. There are
Eyes and-
face
Yep.
and we want good people.
Mhm.
And we need to keep those good people.
Supervisor Thomas.
I'm sure the state will provide the funding.
Oh, yeah. Having said that,
Yeah.
it leads into our,
Yeah, it's not on here, but our positions that were created. We would really like to go about getting them funded. So we can get some staff in trained this year, moving into our presidential year next year. One of the big things changes that we're looking at this year is registration cutoff went from 25 days to 10 days. On that 10 days, we are running early voting. So right now we're strapped thin with our staff during that time period. We need those folks in to get them trained.
our information has to be put into those poll books. So those poll books can be packed to be sent out to the proper location. Or the amount of staff that we have with the four of us now, with everything else we're working. With the other, it's getting to the point where it's really becoming impossible for four people. Thank God right now with our extra help that we've been able to bring in. But with the new cybersecurity regulations and stuff through the state board of elections again, telling us certain people can only be allowed to get into certain areas of the computer system and of the voter registration. We're not allowed sometimes to let this part-time staff into certain locations in the computer that we need help with. And until we put a body in that seat, that's going to be a body that's going to be there full time, we can't let them into it. So, I mean, it just,
And we really can't advertise now. And I think it'll take a while to even find the right people to fill those spots.
And I know that we've discussed this and both commissioners and I have discussed this, and I've gone over and see the layout where the two new people, if they get approved, could go to do their necessary work. Was this an action? We already discussed this, but the creation of these new two positions, is that something that
They're created,
they
they're
were
not funded.
created, they weren't funded.
All right, so that's the finance committee? Or is that here? All right, personnel and then finance. All right, so you're just giving us a heads up. All
Yeah,
right, because I think we already gave you an acknowledgement and,
Yes.
okay.
Dominion upgrades on ICP and EMS software.
So, a lot of all voting companies have to be in compliance again, so they all went to, new upgrades.
Recertifications.
They have to be recertified by the state. There is a new company, Hart, that has just been certified. Dominion's upgrade has not been certified. They're hoping for April. So we did get a quote on that. Bottom line, it's $49,000. But this can be worked. I think we just got this yesterday, so we really haven't looked at the nitty-gritty of it.
There will be upgrades coming. There's no doubt about it. We've talked with IT. IT was good enough to take a look at the list for the hardware that we're going to need and everything else. They believe a lot of this hardware that they can get at OGS rate, so they can reduce the cost down. We're going to look deeper into that. We have spoken with the state. In fact, they come up and visited us last week, and I must say we got some real nice kudos from the state on the way that the office is run over there. And they did advise us to sit back a little bit on these upgrades that they aren't certified yet. They probably will be, but they're coming. We've got time on it, but we just wanted the committee to know they're in the works. And it again, as our supervisor from Stony Creek would say, are they going to give us any funding?
But we'll have to either do this, or we'll be in search of new voting machines, which
The voting machines, you've got and have paper ballots. You already got the printers to print the ballots.
Yeah.
You just need somebody to count them by hand. And then you won't need them. And then you don't have to worry about the algorithms flipping the votes on.
I think you need to come visit us and see our. So there is, a possibility. We want to look at all the options, and we would like to go after the presidential year if we went with new systems.
No changes until then.
So then
I want to
kind
try
of,
that.
thinking, do you do the upgrade, hope for that our servers are good and all those things. So it's something that we'll be working on diligently this year.
Okay. Now, you also have a request to go into executive session to discuss a pending legal item.
Correct.
Yes.
I think the county attorney is
And
aware.
yes.
All right, so in accord with the,
You would need a motion to discuss proposed pending or current litigation.
all right, move into executive session to discuss pending or proposed litigation.
Current litigation, correct?
Okay. Motion made by Supervisor Conover, seconded by Supervisor Frazier. All those in favor of moving into executive session, please signify by saying aye.